Have you ever tried to learn SharePoint or any other tool, but just found yourself lost and frustrated? Well, you're not alone. I've been there before. And let me just tell you, once you actually get the hang of using SharePoint, then it will change the way you and your organization works. Trust me. I still remember like when I first came across SharePoint. It was like 15 years ago. At the time, I was a video teleconferencing tech and the IT guy of the shop. So I didn't know much about SharePoint, but I went to training for 2 weeks, found out about it, and since then, I've been eating, sleeping, and breathing SharePoint, and now I help people in organizations do more efficient work with SharePoint. So my journey has had some ups and downs over the years, but through it all, I've worked with all different kinds of clients, helping them customize SharePoint to meet their needs. And I've learned a ton over the years, and I'm happy to share that with you, or a little piece of it with you here today. So here's the deal. By the end of this video, you will have a solid understanding of how SharePoint works and how you can begin to use it today. I'm gonna keep it simple, cut through the jargon, and focus on the one thing that could get you up and running today. Now, if you stick around until the end, I got something special for you. Access to my course on list building training. That's dope, right? All right, let's dive in. So what exactly is SharePoint? Some of you might be familiar with it, but for those that are not familiar, let me break it down in simple terms. Well, actually, first, let me give you what is very vague. SharePoint is a content management system. That's the vague explanation. That could mean anything. So let me better explain it by telling you what it can do for you. And I do that by reminding you of an acronym. The acronym is CMD. Collect information, manage information, and display information. SharePoint is a great tool to collect information. Right now, you probably send out a document via email as an attachment, have people download that attachment, put information into that attachment, reattach it back to the email, and send it back to you. That is one process of collecting information. SharePoint allows you to do that in a more streamlined, more efficient way. That's collecting information. Managing information is basically what you do with the information when you have it. Do you archive it? Do you display it on different screens? Do you use different views to show more important information? Do you need to filter it, sort it, break it up? Whatever you need to do, this is the management that you would do of the data inside of SharePoint. And displaying the information in SharePoint basically just means a website. That's what we do with websites. We stand up the websites and then we put information on it that allows people to see it. So collect information, manage information, display information, CMD. That's what SharePoint allows you to do. Now, I know a lot of people get frustrated when trying to learn about SharePoint. You might start with like some trial and error or some tutorials and just end up feeling stuck or overwhelmed. The problem is a lot of these resources don't really give you the full picture, or they give you way too much of the picture and it's too confusing. SharePoint really isn't something you just figure out overnight. It takes some guidance. But here's the thing. SharePoint isn't just for tech people or IT pros. With the right approach, anyone can use SharePoint effectively. And I'm going to show you how. Now, I'm going to break down CMD to you by telling you a story about Sean. Sean just got a new job at an organization working in facilities management. Congratulations to Sean. When Sean first gets there, his boss says to him, there's a new building that we just stood up. I need to know what equipment we have in that building. Spin me up a spreadsheet so that I could track this stuff. Sean says, no problem. But Sean is thinking, I'm not doing a spreadsheet. I went to SPHD training and I know a SharePoint list is better. So Sean creates a SharePoint list and sends a link out to everybody in that building. Everybody in that building will just click that link and go to his list and then put the information in there. That is an example of collecting, the C, collecting information via SharePoint. Now we want to manage that information. So after Sean has got the information inside of the list, Sean thinks, you know what? We are really focused on high dollar equipment. So I'm going to create a view called high dollar equipment. This is where all of the equipment that's $5,000 and above, we keep track of. In addition, Sean thinks, you know what? There's 3 floors in that building and everybody on each floor has to manage that equipment. So let me create a view for each floor. So now Sean has 5 views on his SharePoint list. One that shows all the equipment, another one that shows high dollar equipment, and 3 more that shows what equipment is on each floor. So now this is an example of managing information via SharePoint. Third, Sean thinks to himself, the boss is asking about equipment inside of a building. There's no telling what else the boss doesn't know. So let me go ahead and spin up a site so that my boss can use the site to get all the information. So Sean goes to SharePoint, creates a facilities management SharePoint site, puts a big picture at the top to represent equipment, puts the boss's name right underneath that. Then underneath Underneath that puts a short blurb that explains what everyone at the organization can find on the facilities management site. Then Sean puts a button that leads to inventory. And Sean can put a bunch of other things on there like policies, procedures, stakeholders, whatever. But this inventory is very important. So everyone in the organization can visit this site and see the inventory. But more important, the boss can see the inventory. So Sean makes it where when you click the inventory button, you go to a new page. And on this page, you see all the inventory that's being tracked, which includes the inventory inside of the new building. Sean sends this to the boss. The boss sees this and thinks, whoa, this is way better than a spreadsheet. From now on, this is all I want to see. So if anybody comes to me with a spreadsheet, don't do that. Go talk to Sean and let Sean set you straight. This is where the boss is at now. And that is an example of D, displaying the information that we found out from the other building. So remember, he collected information via SharePoint, managed that information inside of SharePoint, and then displayed that information via SharePoint so the boss can have the information very easily. Much better than emails with attachments. So how you feeling? Ready to call yourself a SharePoint guru? All right, that's fine, but you're definitely on the right track. Okay, now that you've got a solid foundation, it's time to take action. Remember, SharePoint can be a game changer if you stick with it and take the right approach, just like I did 15 years ago. Now, for those of you who stuck it out until the end, I appreciate you, and I want to make good on my promise. Go check the first comment. Congratulations in advance for what you're about to do. Now, I want to hear from you. Tell me what other SharePoint topics and tutorials you want to know about. Drop your ideas in the comments below. I'm always looking for new ideas and ways for you to succeed with SharePoint. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you want to see more tips and tricks. I'll see you in the next video.